The latest sanctions don't appear to be the result of any new information into the poisoning of Sergei Skripal, a double agent spying on the Russians for the British and his daughter in March of this year in the UK. But the Trump administration has expressed confidence in the British allegation that the Russians were responsible.
It certainly looks like the Russians were behind it, something that should never, ever happen. And we're taking it very seriously, as I think are many others.
In March, the Trump administration expelled 60 Russian diplomats from the U.S. as a result of the attacks. The State Department says, having made the determination that the Russians were responsible, sanctions were required to be imposed under U.S. law governing chemical and biological weapons. The sanctions mean there will be what's called a presumption of denial on exports of goods to Russian companies owned or funded by the state that the U.S. deemed to have a significance for national security. The State Department gave the examples of aerogas turbines, electronic equipment, integrated circuits, and calibration equipment. An official said that over 50% of Commerce Department export licenses include at least one such national security item, so hundreds of millions of dollars of goods may be affected. However, the U.S. will still export items on a case-by-case basis deemed to be of foreign assistance for the Russian people, related to spaceflight. Currently, the Americans are entirely dependent on the Russians to transport its astronauts into space, and passenger aviation. If Moscow doesn't prove within 3 months that it's not using chemical or biological weapons, has not given reliable assurances that none will be used in the future, and does not allow inspections to ensure no usage, what were described as more draconian sanctions would be imposed. There has long been a contradiction between the Trump administration's tough policies against Russia and Donald Trump's wish for closer engagement, seen most notably in Helsinki.
I think that the United States now has stepped forward along with Russia, and we're getting together, and we have a chance to do some great things.
But these are the latest in a raft of sanctions against Russia imposed under Trump, and along with the approval of lethal arms sales to the Ukrainian government, the bombing of Syrian installations, and increasing funding for the European Defense Initiative specifically designed to counter Russia, there has been a hardening of the U.S. position geopolitically against Russia since the previous administration. Shihab, Rattansi, Al Jazeera.